Hello. Um, Today I feel to talk about doubt and existential doubt. Um, a friend of mine just told me a story about something happened with her, and it was just like an event that happens, but it brought up doubt in her, even though she accepted the situation. It brought up some doubt. So I thought, I'd like to share with you a story about um, what took me through the process of looking at this existential doubt that was sown somewhere deep inside my psyche. So it was one day, maybe it was a year ago, I'm not really sure, and I was in a small country town, middle of nowhere, like middle of nowhere. There was nothing there but a pub, a general store, post office, like, very, very basic, small population. And anyway, I'd gone into the general store to get something or other, and there was virtually no one around, just, the occasional local. And I was just walking back down to Bubbles, my bus, and sort of I could hear a bit of a commotion in the background, somebody yelling, and I don't know, I just ignored it, didn't really pay attention, and eventually, it got my attention. Like, I just thought, it was sort of like coming at me. And so I turned around and had a look, and there was a man, about 100 meters up the road outside the general store, and he was yelling at me, like, he was just fully yelling the most horrible obscenities, but basically, get out of this town, you're not wanted here. And, um, there was absolutely no sane reason for it. Like, like I couldn't even tell you what the man looked like. I had no personal interaction. Um, it was just a very strange event. My initial sort of intuition told me that there was something about my light that disturbed him, and maybe he was on some sort of radical drugs, and it was like demons yelling through him, or maybe he had a mental illness or something, or I don't know. Whatever it was, my presence disturbed him. There was absolutely no personal interaction at all. So, I walked away and it was all good. And then the next day, as I was wandering, just going for a little walk, exercising through the town, and all of a sudden I found myself, I started to question. I started to think, what did I do for him to behave like that, And I started going into all of these scenarios of like, oh, I wonder if, I said something in the store and he overheard me, and it offended him, or maybe, I don't know, maybe I parked my bus in the wrong spot. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, anyway, but the point is, I just began to doubt myself. I began to really question myself, and I just went, oh, hang on a minute. What's going on here? Like, you're totally questioning yourself, and there's absolutely no reason to. I knew what had happened. I knew the story. And then what happened just over the next few days, like, all of a sudden I started to go into this incredible existential crisis where I began questioning absolutely everything, like the teachings that I study from the Ascended Masters. And I love these teachings. They are like, they just fulfill me. They take me on the path that I need to go on. Like, they fulfill what I want, which is to look at my psychology and resolve it. Um, and I even began questioning these teachings, thinking, maybe, maybe they're fraudulent, and, or maybe I shouldn't be doing this, maybe I'm not deserving of studying these teachings. And I just began questioning absolutely everything. There was nothing rational about it. It was just nuts. Like, this total existential doubt, like, what am I doing here on this planet? And eventually, I was able to sort of cull all of this madness away and just begin to look at this like, oh, so what is this? You know, this psychic mechanism of doubting the self. You know, why is that? And you know, it's not hard to sort of know from looking back on experiences in this lifetime, and no doubt in past lifetimes, where and then you look at the wider picture of the world, where there's a lot of stuff that goes on in this world that um, you're given a lot of lies, a lot of illusions through a lot of ideologies. Like let's cull it down and just take something like, you know, religion. So any particular religion, they we'll go down to sort of like Christianity. Like, you know, they feed you this lie that you cannot access God or the Christ other than through a priest or Jesus Christ. Like on your own you can't. So, you know, so essentially it's just telling you that you can't trust yourself. You can't trust what's going on inside of you, your inner voice, you know, your inner teacher, your intuition. We all have it. We all have this sense, like, and so that's why there's no, you know, one size fits all for people. And you know, I've never been one to really get too caught up in following a human being. It's, you know, I have a lot of admiration for some people, but I don't bow down and worship them. I don't put them above myself. I really, you know, and I'm okay with whatever decisions I have made to sort of tune into various teachings along the way. But I will always question it. You know, I will always question, you know, is this real, and how am I feeling in regards to it? Is it taking me forwards, upwards on the path? Um, so, you know, really, I think for anyone who's on, you know, that spiritual path or that journey of just coming to understand, you know, and tune in with themselves, that it's important to face this mechanism of doubting ourselves. I think it happens a little bit more in women too, because, you know, we're given a programming which, you know, tells us that you know, we can't look after ourselves, we need a man to look after ourselves, and, you know, men are superior and so on. So, you know, essentially, you know, there's this subtle message coming through that, you know, you can't trust yourself. So yeah, there we go. Just talking about existential doubt and what doubt is. It's taking us away from our intuition. And that's why there's no person who can give us all the answers. Like ultimately, you know, we only have our own answers. There is a flip side to this, but I don't think I'll talk about it in this video. I will talk about it in another video. So yeah, we are our own teachers.